Number 12. Vagueness is an obstacle to efficient communication. Sometimes people who want to avoid committing themselves to a particular course of action use vagueness as a ploy. For instance, a politician asked how precisely he intends to save money in the public sector might make vague generalizations about the need for improved efficiency, which, while true, don't commit him to any particular way of achieving this. A good journalist would then press for further information about precisely how this efficiency was to be achieved, forcing him to come out from behind this veil of vagueness. Or someone who was late for an appointment but didn't want to admit that this was because he'd stopped for a drink on the way might say, "Sorry I'm late. I had something I needed to do on the way here, and it took slightly longer than I expected," deliberately leaving the cause of the delay vague and exercising a particular kind of economy with the truth. Number 13. When opposites blend, they are placed on the far ends of a continuum, and between the two extremes there is a gradation that mixes the two opposites. For instance, black and white blend into each other through shades of gray. As the amount of white decreases through shades of gray, the amount of black increases. The two opposites are always in a proportional relationship, but at any point along the continuum, there is some amount of each, except at the very extremes. In contrast, a zero-sum game where the winner takes all also establishes a proportional relationship, but at any point along the continuum, there is only one or the other, black or white, and each retains its full identity. In a blend, pure black and pure white are diluted when combined into gray. They both lose their identity. Gray is not black, and it is not white. Number 14. In sports, attendance is nearly always 98 to 99% of the time, with at least one other person. The sports fan pays a price for the right to enjoy an emotional experience with others. The fan goes to the game to be with others, to share the experience in this social exchange. More broadly speaking, unlike most other retail settings, large crowds have positive psychological effects. No line at the grocery store checkout will make most shoppers happy, but no line to see a ball game is a definite hint to a fan either that this is a terrible sporting event or that the fan has arrived at the stadium on the wrong date. The excitement of the competition and the aura of the star power of the players on the team are such that the experience is best enjoyed in the presence of others. Number 15. As writers, we need to share our experiences of writing and to encourage one another, but we also need to work independently. We may also need to do certain things which, paradoxically, do not involve words. So the point you might consider is this. If you have a piece of writing in mind, or in some half-finished state, which is actually the case for almost all writers much of the time, stop, go for a walk, draw a picture, enjoy something different, go window shopping, or even fly fishing. But observe, take notice, bring to your surroundings and other people an extra special level of attention. See them as unfamiliar and worth all your attention. Store up what you see, hear, or think, and let it lie in that part of your mind which has no obvious practical function, which isn't continually worrying about what you have to do today or next week. Writing needs that stocked reservoir of real but aimless sensations. When the time comes and you need them, they'll find you. Number 16. When asked, what was one of your best days at work? Very few of us recount the time everything went smoothly and the big project we were working on came in on time and under budget. Considering how we work so hard to make things go well, that example should count as a pretty good day at work. But strangely, the days everything goes smoothly and as planned are not the ones we remember with fondness. For most of us, we have warmer feelings for the projects we worked on where everything seemed to go wrong. We remember how the group stayed at work until 3 a.m., ate cold pizza, and barely made the deadline. Those are the experiences we remember as some of our best days at work. It was not because of the hardship per se, but because the hardship was shared. It is not the work we remember with fondness, but the fellowship, how the group came together to get things done. Number 17. If you're a small herbivore, it's a bad idea to run in the face of danger. Wolves could easily follow you and attack, so it's better for you to hide. Roe deer don't run very far before they turn around and try to return to their original location. And when they do, they cross their own tracks, which confuses their pursuers. Which trail should they follow? Once they're safely back on home grass, roe deer hide in groups of small trees. And because herds are easier to spot than single animals, roe deer live alone. But another reason for their solitary existence is the lack of food in ancient undisturbed forests. A herd of deer would have to cover a lot of territory to find sufficient food. Traveling long distances, however, increases the risk of coming across a pack of wolves, and so the single life is better. Number 18. It was not until the advent of the Industrial Revolution, the historical period beginning in the late 1700s, when the economies of the United States and many nations in Europe shifted from manual labor and hand tools to machines and factory manufacturing, that human-produced garbage became a critical issue. The full effect of the Industrial Revolution, however, was not felt until around the turn of the 20th century, when systems of mass production and mass distribution were developed. This economic change produced many more products for people to purchase, and it also created jobs that helped to increase wealth that could be used to purchase products. As people were able to buy more and more new things, they stopped seeing value in broken and used items and began seeing these old items as trash. New forms of colorful advertising and packaging encouraged this burgeoning consumer culture. Number 19. The reasons for the deficiencies in human-machine interaction are numerous. Some come from the limitations of today's technology. Some come from self-imposed restrictions by the designers, often to hold down cost. But most of the problems come from a complete lack of understanding of the design principles necessary for effective human-machine interaction. Why this deficiency? Because much of the design is done by engineers who are experts in technology, but limited in their understanding of people. We are people ourselves, they think, so we understand people. But in fact, we humans are amazingly complex. Those who have not studied human behavior often think it is pretty simple. Engineers, moreover, make the mistake of thinking that logical explanation is sufficient. If only people would read the instructions, they say, everything would be all right.